Hello kind people of YouTube and welcome back to another video. We are out of the holidays and with that we are entering a full news cycle of crypto news again. A lot of stuff to talk about today, so let's jump right into it because most of these are actually pretty big stories today, so let's discuss. First up we have Ethereum shooting past XRP after XRP has not performed as well as Ethereum for the last 2 weeks or so, and reclaiming that number 2 at least for now. Let's take a quick look at the article and then I'll talk about what I think this means for a moment. Ethereum has beaten XRP to reclaim its position as the largest altcoin by market cap, data from CoinMarketCap confirmed on January 2nd. As part of a return to positive gains throughout the top 20 cryptocurrency assets through Tuesday, Ether, which had spent multiple weeks in the number 3 spot, suddenly re-emerged at press time, surpassing XRP's market cap by around 500,000. The move comes on the back of fresh controversy for both XRP and its relationship with payment network Ripple. Confusion over whether or not Ripple can make executive decisions over the XRP spilled over into mainstream consciousness this week after United States cryptocurrency exchange Kraken publicly asked a senior executive for advice on how to name it. We don't really need the rest of this article. So first up, this is something that I have been predicting for months, so it's I'm a bit confused why people are trying to use this as like a gotcha moment. I made a video, I think it was October, where I predicted that for the next couple months or possibly even years, but I kept the time frame for 2 weeks and months. That was when XRP was still in the number 3 spot, but was getting closer and closer to Ethereum. I predicted that they would be engaged in a battle for number 2 for a while, that XRP would more frequently and at a progressing rate, at an exponentially advancing rate, would overtake Ethereum for at first a couple minutes, then a couple hours, and always closer together. Like we saw that in the beginning, like XRP took over for a couple hours, then fell down and was below Ethereum for a week or two. Then the next time it took over, it fell down again and it was below Ethereum for a couple days. The next time it took over, it fell down again and was below Ethereum for like a day or two. So we saw the frequency of the switching increase. And then after a couple weeks of that, we saw XRP just emerge as the number 2 for a while. Now we are seeing the opposite. Now we're seeing very much the opposite movement here. Their battle is on again after Ethereum had been trading significantly below XRP for a while. Now they have gotten very close, and as it stands right now, Ethereum is quite significantly above XRP right now. But we are also at the point where one good day for XRP or one bad day for Ethereum could switch them right around again. I still do think that long term we are more likely to see XRP on number 2 than Ethereum. But as it stands now, this is very much what I predicted a couple months ago. This would be an ongoing battle where both of them would have stretches at number 2. Now we'll see how much longer Ethereum can remain on number 2, because Ethereum has had a relatively good last 2 or 3 weeks. Had a lot of growth, I believe 80% growth. And has of course beaten XRP because XRP was in a better place at the beginning of the month, has not managed to gain quite as much, while XRP has also had a relatively good month. But how long will Ethereum keep up this momentum? How long until XRP gains some momentum? This is very much an ongoing battle that neither coin has won at this current point. That's why I think we shouldn't focus too much on who is 2 at any given point. As a supporter of XRP, I'm of course happy to see it whenever it is in number 2, and depending on which judgment of market cap you go by, it might still be at number 2. But the consensus, if we go with the consensus in the general crypto space, then XRP is the number 3 right now. Ethereum back at number 2, where it has been for a long time before. Let's see how long this continues, if XRP can rip the number 2 spot from Ethereum again in the near future. Now, regardless of who is ultimately at number 2, this stretch of the last 2 months or so, where XRP spent a significant amount of time above Ether by market cap, was enough to really bring XRP more into the public discussion around crypto. Just the fact that it managed to dethrone Ethereum there for a while has really changed how people look at XRP, has changed a lot of opinions about XRP, believe it or not. And we're going to see a very different market sentiment around it, even if it doesn't manage to instantly reclaim the #1 after this. But like I said, long term, I expect this battle to continue for a couple more months. I expect them to go back and forth, but I do think XRP currently has better chances of ending up victorious there. But there is a lot of development happening on Ethereum. Who knows where that price is going to go soon. Looking back a bit, we saw Bitcoin not do very well in 2018, of course. Now we're in 2019, fresh start, but looking back at 2018, one of the toughest bear runs we have been through, and some reason to be hopeful. So let's read this, just the first half of this article. We don't need the daily analysis. Bitcoin chalked up its longest monthly losing streak in 7 years in December. The leading cryptocurrency by market value closed at $3,689 on December 31st, representing a 13% drop from the monthly opening price of $4,241. That was the 5th straight monthly loss, its worst period since November 2011. Back then, Bitcoin was trading below $20. Oh my god, have any of you guys been around for that time? I got into Bitcoin ever so slightly after that. But oh, just imagine grabbing Bitcoin for $20 each. But back to the article. And had depreciated by 81% in 5 months to November 2011. Notably, the tide had turned in favor of the bulls in the following months. Bitcoin gained 59% in December 2011 and traded at record highs above $900 in November of the same year. Bitcoin may repeat history by posting gains this month. After all, the cryptocurrency is looking oversold, having lost 52% in the last 5 months and 70% in 2018. Furthermore, it is currently down 80% from the record high of $20,000 seen in December 2017. And we don't really need to get into the fundamentals here, because you can make all kinds of arguments over how legitimate and how meaningful they actually are. I think a lot of analysts really overestimate the power of analysis, especially in a young, immature market like crypto. I don't think we can fully apply that in the same way that we can apply it to a much more regulated and much more mature market like the stock market. But looking at this, longest loss since 2011, and back then it instantly turned into a massive, massive bull run after. The way I've been looking at this bear market is that we've been looking progressively for a bottom. We have been looking for a Bitcoin bottom, and by extension a bottom for the entire crypto markets. And what we generally see in this constant cycle between bull run and bear market, bull run, bear market, is that every bull run we hit an all-time high, and then obviously we crash back down again. But once we found our bottom after that, once we've done crashing down, that bottom is always many times higher than the previous bottom. And we're just waiting to see where that is. There are good arguments to be made that we might have found it in the $3,000 region, that it is only up from now, and we have some possible catalysts in the next couple months that might also launch a bull market proper. But in general, we are just waiting to hit that bottom, that price where it just won't go down anymore because people refuse to let it down anymore. And then our tides will turn. And sometimes it takes a while, and sometimes we are dancing around that bottom for months or even years before it turns around again. But it always turns back around, and the bottom historically has always been higher than the previous one. And as it looks right now, I think last time the bottom was $200 roughly. And then we shot up to ridiculous heights. This time it's looking like it's a good 15 times what the last bottom was. So just imagine what that might mean for the next bull run. Will it also mean that the maximum will be 15 times what we've seen last time? Impossible to tell for sure. We have only 10 years of history. That is not enough of a data set to really say anything conclusive. But we can take a general look at the history here and consider that we might see patterns repeat. I've said for a while now, I think early 2019 is looking like the most likely candidate for us to launch into the next bull run. Right now, as it stands, I still stand with that, but keep in mind, young market, immature market, we don't really have enough data to make accurate predictions. We don't really understand exactly what is driving the markets right now because they're not rational. But as it looks to me, I think we have, after this very tough 2018, I think we have a very beautiful 2019 to look forward to. But there are some more bad news, and this is something that people have been denying, that declining mining profitability is a real issue. But now we're seeing the second major huge mining company running into serious issues. And I think at this point it's impossible to deny that Bitcoin mining has some serious issues brought on by this bear market. Japanese e-commerce conglomerate DMM.com Limited will shut down its crypto mining business, citing deteriorating profitability as the main cause. Local business magazine Toyo Keizai reported the shutdown on December 30th. The decision was reportedly taken in September of 2018, and initial steps to dismantle mining operations, including selling the company's mining hardware, will reportedly extend over the first half of 2019. DMM.com, which has over 27 million clients for its e-commerce business, first announced its entry into the crypto mining business in September 2017, with a focus on mining major cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. As of February this year, the company has operated a large-scale mining firm in the city of Kanazawa. By April, DMM had even planned to open a showroom for its mining operations, intending to open access for the public to see 1,000 mining machines on a 500 square meter site. Yet the decision was reportedly reversed in early June due to security concerns, in particular over the potential threat of hardware theft after failed attempts at the Kanazawa farm. According to Toyo Keizai, DMM is also reconsidering its launch of a crypto trading app dubbed CoinTap, which had been slated for release on December 25, 2018. This obviously passed without it being released. The company reportedly considered that both the bearish crypto market and the high-profile hack of Japanese crypto exchange CoinCheck in January of 2018 have made attracting new traders to the sector more difficult. There has been no indication that DMM will cease to operate its regulated cryptocurrency exchange, which has been live since January 2018. As reported, Japanese internet giant GMO Internet Group has recently announced it will no longer develop, manufacture, and sell Bitcoin miners after reportedly high losses in 2018. So here we have it now. After Bitmain was reported, we still don't have all the details, but Bitmain allegedly has to fire more than 50% of its staff, has to let go entire divisions, partly or maybe even entirely because of mining profitability. We have GMO Internet Group, this has been announced a couple of weeks ago already, who are not developing, manufacturing, selling Bitcoin miners anymore, also after losses in 2018. And now we have DMM completely shutting down their mining. This was already decided in September. So who knows how many other mining firms have also decided to shut down, or at least for the time not continue operating, that we don't know about yet. So there is absolutely no way at this point to deny that there are issues, and if a next bull run hits, those issues will pretty much instantly disappear. But as it stands right now, and the cost of mining a Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency are not exactly the same for everyone. It depends on how expensive your internet is, how expensive the electricity is, how expensive your location is, how high the local taxes are. There are a million things that that can influence the price of mining. Aside from, of course, the hash rate and all that other stuff. And the mining difficulty, of course. But as it stands right now, Bitcoin is auto-adjusting to the different environment by lowering the difficulty, but it hasn't been enough to make it profitable for a lot of miners. So at this point, a lot of these firms are in real problems, and I don't think we should be denying that anymore. I've seen a bunch of articles lately that have pretty much had the message, everything is fine. No, it's not. Like, there's a good chance that everything will be fine again soon, but these companies that already had to shut down, they're not coming back. And any other companies that want to get into this or that are planning to start with this, they're gonna think twice because they saw all these pretty big companies having to pull out of that, having disastrous quarters. So we're not doing anyone any good by pretending this isn't an issue. And this ultimately this comes down to just what proof of work does, just how proof of work works. As long as a coin is expensive enough, then with however many people are mining, it will likely remain profitable. But after the price has been high for a while and a lot of people got into there, with a lot of activity on there, once the price drops, that can turn disastrous really, really quickly. Proof of stake also has its issues and can also become more expensive to do than it's profitable. Reportedly, EOS had some issues with that lately. But we are seeing it especially become an issue with proof of work coins, where hardware mining is still the dominant way of creating new tokens. And where that is also necessary to keep the networks running. So I think a lot of people will reconsider their stance on coins that have to be mined and on mining farms in general. I think a lot of people will reconsider their business strategies if they do launch one, or reconsider launching one in general. Now, it is very, very likely that in a couple months we won't have these issues anymore. Mining will almost certainly become profitable again before long, but these companies aren't coming back. The damage that has been done, and it will likely happen again in the future. After another bull run, we will likely see another bear market where mining firms lose money, where mining firms won't be able to survive, and it's not looking very good for the community, for crypto as in general, because this is also the kind of stuff that mainstream news picks up on. But let's finish this up with two pieces of good news about individual projects. Fortnite, probably the single biggest gaming phenomenon of the last 2 years or so, now accepts Monero for payments in its in-game shop or online merch store. And that is the only cryptocurrency that they're accepting. So this is pretty big. Let's read this. Monero XMR, the most well-known privacy coin, showed less positive price movements in the month of December 2018. However, the cryptocurrency did end the year with a bang following an announcement regarding its adoption. The privacy coin can now be used as a means of payment in one of the most well-known enterprise. This is not a sentence. It was recently added to the payment channel of Fortnite's online store, with other options being credit card and PayPal. This acts as a major boost for Monero's adoption, as it is the first and the only cryptocurrency accepted for payments. Additionally, Fortnite is one of the most popular online video games with over 78.3 million monthly players, which is the product of Epic Games, a franchise that has been thriving in the video game industry since 1991. Not a franchise that has been thriving, because Fortnite is the franchise, but Epic Games is a company that has been around for a while. Fortnite users can pay for the merchandise with the privacy coin, with Globy acting as the gateway for the payment channel. Globy is noted to be one of the leading cryptocurrency payment providers. It empowers merchants to accept cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Monero without any risk associated with it. And here, once again, we have an AMB crypto article that just sounds like marketing speak. This is ad copy. The platform also supports other top cryptocurrencies such as XRP, Dogecoin, or I prefer to call it Doggycoin because it's funnier, and Litecoin. So here we have Fortnite, one of the biggest games in the world right now. No denying it. Absolutely no denying how big Fortnite is. Fortnite is available on anything. It's available on computer, on every console. It's available on Switch. It's available on mobile phones and tablets. Has millions of players online every single day and is making a lot of money through its store. Now, it remains to be seen how many people actually decide to use Monero to pay in the store. It will probably be a very small percentage, as we've previously seen with other stores accepting a cryptocurrency. Generally, less than 5% of payments are then done with that cryptocurrency. Monero, of course, not as big as some of the major ones, so we might see even less adoption here. But the important thing is that it's available at all, regardless of how much money ultimately flows through it. Everyone who wants to buy something from the Fortnite store now sees the Monero logo as one of the 3 possible payment methods. And that, in my opinion, is pretty big. That is pretty huge for Monero and for crypto in general. Now, keep in mind, Fortnite is a free game and you can potentially play it without ever spending any money. But I believe most users, or most active users at least, have bought something from the store at one point or another. So this is millions of people getting exposed to cryptocurrency and getting exposed to Monero, and ultimately very good news for the entire space. And last but not least, Tron has had some pretty impressive growth of their development team over the last year or so, and let's celebrate that for a moment, because I've been critical of them and Justin Sun in particular many times, but I do like to celebrate when they're doing something good, when something good is going on behind the scenes, and this is something definitely good. The Tron Foundation and the Tron blockchain is going from strength to strength. After beginning this year's march to success with a development team of just 2 engineers, Tron now has over 40. The growth of Tron's core development team has allowed its blockchain engineers to specialize and has enabled them to stabilize the Tron blockchain. Tron's head of protocol, Marcus Zhao, recently described the growth of Tron's team and its timeline over the past 8 months. Zhao is in charge of the development of Tron's public blockchain, which now has numerous exchanges, games, and dApps. His goal is strong performance and high scalability. And here we have a tweet from the Tron Foundation and a quote tweet by Justin Sun. Very proud of the work the amazing Tron team has done in 2018. 2019 is going to be another amazing year. Tron's core team of senior developers is 40 strong, Zhao says. They mostly come from prestigious internet companies such as Alibaba and Baidu. At the very beginning, which is 8-9 months ago, our team only had 2 people. Zhao also says it was hard work, with the small team multitasking on development, design, hiring and working with the Tron community. Back then, there were so many late nights, but we quickly expanded to about 10 people. When Tron's Shasta testnet launched, the team was able to determine a clearer scope of responsibilities. Just months later, when Tron's mainnet launched in June 2018, its team had reached 20 engineers. Our team also broke down into 3 smaller groups: underlying architecture team, algorithm team, and virtual machine and smart contract team. Since then, we've seen a big leap in the quality of our code, and our public change is becoming more stable each day. Now Tron has 40 senior engineers plus a 6-strong team testing the stability and quality of the Tron blockchain. Zhao adds, "I think our team should aspire to become one of the leading development teams worldwide. We hope more amazing talents will join our team at Tron." This Zhao guy sounds so much more reasonable and less just kooky than Justin Sun. Why isn't he the CEO? Tron founder Justin Sun managed to squeeze most of Tron's not insignificant achievements for 2018 into a single tweet yesterday. 2018, mainnet launch, more transaction volumes versus Ethereum, more accounts versus EOS, 1 million users in 183 days, 80 plus dApps in 60 days, top 10 crypto. 2019, top 4, larger ecosystem versus Ethereum, BitTorrent on the blockchain, largest decentralized ecosystem. Happy New Year and thank you. Now, once again, I talk about this so much, but you get the unprofessionalism? The lack of professionalism in the crypto world once again, and Justin Sun is always a poster boy for that. It's entirely possible to celebrate all of these legitimate achievements without having to involve other projects in your tweet. This doesn't necessarily have to be a competition, and you don't have to attack other cryptocurrencies any chance you get. Now, could have just said mainnet launch, massive transaction volume, massive number of accounts, and so on. But instead it had to be versus Ethereum, versus EOS, and his 2019 goals also versus Ethereum. Why? Why is this necessary? Like, you don't see the CEO of a major tech company saying, 2018, passed Apple. 2019, we'll pass Microsoft. We'll defeat that and that. You don't see that because it's not professional. Just celebrate your accomplishments without constantly needing to frame them in response to other projects. Just stop, Justin Sun. Come on. I would have loved this tweet if he didn't feel the need to name drop those other coins in them, because it's not necessary. It is absolutely not necessary. Tron has achieved a lot in 2018. They have launched their mainnet, like it says there. They have hired so many people. They have made important purchases. They have, of course, bought BitTorrent. They have worked on really expanding their network, getting a lot of dApps on their network. That is a lot of good work, legitimately good work. But every time Justin Sun starts tweeting, he takes away from that legitimately good work by saying something stupid or rude or unnecessary, and it's really annoying at this point. And there's more fighting down here, but we're not going to talk about that. But general takeaway from here is, I still can't stand Justin Sun, but Tron is doing very well in its development team growth, in expanding its ecosystem, and I think that is worth celebrating either way. And with that, I'm going to end today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you're not subscribed yet, you absolutely need to change that. Hit that little subscribe button. If you are subscribed, there are a bunch of ways to support me in the description if you like my content, if you like watching my videos every day. If you can't or don't want to send any money, I would really appreciate if you just took the 10 seconds to leave a like, leave a comment. It really helps the channel. It really helps me be discovered. It really helps me grow this platform. So if you like my stuff, please just leave a like and comment. It's very little work, but it has a massive impact. All the articles linked in the description if you want to read them yourself, and I will be with you guys either with another video later today or definitely tomorrow. Thanks for watching.